One of my subs pointed out this important issue. Zach Anderson, this young man who's only 19, he's practically a kid himself, had consensual sex with a girl he met on a dating app who told him she was 17, but she was just 14. Right? And guess what? Her and her mother aren't even pressing charges. So this is the legal system railroading this young man. And this is why, by the way, I go on about traditional conservatives as much as Tradcons don't like me doing it, because it's a traditional conservative judge venting his position to put this injustice on this young man. And that's why the legal system doesn't matter if you change the laws, if the people judging can just circumvent the laws. Anyway, let's get into this.
Police on Life. Here's my Nightline co-anchor, Juju Chang.
He's probably waiting in there. Hopefully.
It's just before 6 a.m. outside County Jail in St. Joseph, Michigan. Les and Amanda Anderson
Why did they
are here to pick
flash
up their 19-year-old
teenage sex offender on the screen? He obviously isn't.
son, Zach. It's been 2.5 months since they've seen him.
How are you, buddy?
Finally, the hug they've been waiting for.
You all right? Yeah.
He was arrested last winter after having sex with a girl he met on the dating app Hot or Not. The girl told him she was 17, but she wasn't. She was just 14 years old.
If you'd known that she was 14, would you have had sex with her?
I wouldn't even have gone to.
What a disgusting question. I guess she had to ask it. But what was he going to say? Oh, yeah, I would have banged a 14-year-old, no problem.
Her house. Like, I literally wouldn't have gone to her house at all.
She has since admitted to lying about her age, but that didn't keep Zach from going to jail.
There's no criminal in our son, and the mother and the girl herself said, please don't call us a victim. My daughter's not a victim. She was willing and participated in everything that happened. She wanted it to happen.
Even though
And this is my problem with parents too, right? You know, there's no criminal in my house. You know, these parents remind me of men who get married today. Men who get married know they have no rights in their marriage. And parents know that their sons have no rights in the sexual arena. And yet when something bad happens, they act like this. They say, I don't understand. The average person condones all this shit. And then they're always so shocked when it happens to them personally. And it's only when it happens to them personally or someone they know personally that all of a sudden it's a problem.
Even though he's out, he's far from free. Today is his first day as a convicted sex offender. For the next 5 years, he will live by restrictive rules. He can't own a smartphone or use the internet and has a nightly curfew of 8 p.m. And he'll be listed on the sex offender registry for the next 25 years.
So in other words, this guy has no life. If he had no parents, he'd be a homeless man. If he had no one to look after him. And as it is, he can only live the life of a child, being looked after by his parents. He can't get a job. He can't connect with people. He can't do anything. So they may as well just kept him in jail. And that is the purpose of this kind of treatment, by the way. That's why they brought the sex offender list out. They can say, we're not jailing you. They're not housing these guys, right? They're not spending any taxpayer revenue on these guys. It's all about, like, he would either have to have family who wouldn't look after him, or he'd be homeless. It is a prison sentence. Only he doesn't get 3 hots and a cot.
He and his parents say doesn't fit the crime, so they're fighting for a reduced sentence.
I think it's ridiculous. I know that I'm not a sex offender.
By the way, this annoys the shit out of me. The parents said it doesn't fit the crime. He didn't commit a crime. They should be suing the legal system. And only guys, when it comes to their sex, their gender, say this is ridiculous. I hate the word ridiculous now. You know, if a black man sees a burning cross on his lawn, he doesn't say this is ridiculous. He goes, these scumbags are after me. And that's what this young man, Zach Anderson, should be saying.
Zach graduated high school just last year. Like many teens, he turned to his smartphone to find a date.
I had asked her when we were messaging, I said, like, how old are you? And then she had told me 17, because, like, I just got out of high school, so, like, 2 years difference. I didn't think that was a big deal or anything.
To be honest, there's not a big difference even with the age gap that there is. This young man just got out of high school. He's basically a kid himself.
14-year-old girl falsely registered on the adult section of the site. They flirted via text and arranged to meet in her hometown of Niles, Michigan, 20 miles across the state line from Zach's home in Indiana. He picked her up and they drove to a playground where they had sex.
Did you think that anybody was alarmed? Did you think her mother was looking for you?
Not really, like, I had hugged her and then took her back to her house.
Unbeknownst to them, the girl's mother called the police that night, worried about her daughter's whereabouts. 2 months later, detectives showed up at Zach's work.
My friend was working there, came to the back. He's like, there's 2 detectives here, Zach. They want to talk to you. And then my heart's pounding. It's like crazy.
He was arrested and pled guilty to 4th-degree criminal sexual conduct. But the 14-year-old girl didn't want Zach charged at all. She even wrote him a letter saying, "I'm sorry I didn't tell you my age. I'm dying every day because I've done this to you."
This is a rare occurrence, everybody. Most girls don't give a shit about these guys, what happens to them. So this girl was taking responsibility. This is rare, and her mother backed her. So there's no reason for any of this to happen.
At the trial, Zach found another unlikely ally, the girl's mother, telling the judge, "I don't want him to be a sex offender because he really is not." Her daughter adding, "I feel nothing should happen to Zach." But the judge condemned what he called a culture of meet, hook up, have sex, sayonara, totally inappropriate behavior. And
This is what I'm
sentenced him
talking
to
about.
90 days
The
in jail.
judge is punishing this guy for typical male behavior and also hookup culture and just having casual sex. This judge, he's the real Puritan. He's putting this young man, and he's going to put a sentence on his head for 25 years if he can, so that he has no life, all because he had a one-night stand. This judge, at the very least, needs to be disbarred. But at the most, he belongs behind bars. He shouldn't be disbarred. He should be behind bars. This judge is a criminal. And this is why I keep telling you guys, men have to become aware of what's going on. They've got to be willing to start fighting the culture verbally and online and say, no, this is going to happen. This is wrong. And speaking up as a sex, not as a neutral observer or someone who just says this is not right. No, you say, I as a man deserve the same treatment as the opposite sex. I want to be a first-class citizen. And it also means that you'll probably have to protest, at least some men, in large enough numbers that people start seeing it. This is a complete travesty of the justice system by this disgusting Tradcon judge.
Sentenced him to 90 days in jail.
The hardest part probably for me was to see him being led away, because he turned and looked at us, and it's like, we want to give him a hug, and you don't even have that opportunity.
Today, after 2.5 months of jail food, this is Zach's first taste of freedom.
With a smoothie. Right here.
Hey, you can't wait to drink.
1,000-foot minimum.
What they're forcing him to do is to leave jail, go to a house, be by yourself.
As the day went on, the harsh reality of Zach's new life set in.
Lay it flat down like this.
His parents had to dip into their savings for legal fees and to buy Zach a fixer-upper on the other side of town that meets the distance requirement.
He knows where the house is, but he's never been inside, so we're kind of excited to, to show him that. And that may lift his spirits a little bit.
That's what I'm talking about. The reality is he hasn't left jail. That's the whole point of the sex offenders list and this probation. He's being punished for a crime he didn't commit. You have to be knowingly commit the crime in this case.
This is your crib, buddy. Walk you around the property a little bit here. This is part of the property.
I'm not sure if I
this?
need to
All
hear
the-
that. Now, again, like I said, this is important. This is what they've done to him. They may as well have kept him in jail.
favorite activity. But because sex offenders are not allowed in public parks, finding a way to escape will be tough. Since he can't even use a computer, his budding career in computer science now disrupted.
I can't really have like an actual career. I'm going to be, working a job but not doing something I enjoy doing.
How does it sit in your head to hear that your son is a registered sex offender?
It's totally bogus.
We don't see him that way. If our son's a sex offender, there's a lot of other people on.
We don't see him that way. No, he isn't a sex offender. It's that simple. Oh my God. I mean, this is pathetic. And like I said, this young guy now has no life. So he's being punished for a crime he never really committed.
On that list like him, which dilutes the list and almost makes it meaningless.
Young men are told in high school, 15 is jailbait. Now, that's a slang term, but that's what young men are told.
Michigan State Senator Rick Jones helped write the state's sex offender registry law. He says Zach should have been more careful.
I would hope that somebody that was 19 years old would say, well, do you have a driver's license or something?
Yeah, that would really, how would I say it? Here, let me think about this. That would really stoke the romantic mood, wouldn't it? And again, they're putting everything on the man. Why should he be a detective to get laid if someone's lying to him? It's not his fault someone's a liar. This is victim blaming 101. And again, you can't have good sex if you're going to disrupt it like this. You might not even get to it. And that's all a part of this.
You don't appear to be the appropriate age.
Man, it's crazy. It's like a split decision, like such a small decision, you know what I mean? In your life can affect like everything that you do.
Making matters worse for Zach, Michigan does not provide an automatic defense for when a girl lies about her age. If he engaged...
Wow, exactly. I'm telling you again, you guys, the guys have all the responsibility. But I think even saying responsibility is giving you kind of a red herring. It's set up so the guy gets jailed. This isn't just responsibility. This is just get the guy, period.
Engaged in this behavior 20 minutes across the state line, he wouldn't have been charged at all.
The law, unfortunately, at this time in Michigan doesn't have the same protection as Indiana and 19 other states.
There will be
Why is this guy talking about the law? This young man hasn't been charged by any victims. So they're going after him for no other reason that they want to get him. None of this has to happen. This is a kangaroo court.
plenty of people who say, listen, those laws are on the books for a reason, to protect minors from sexual predators.
Well, remember, we're not talking about loosening the law. No one's indicating that somebody who preys on a young adult, in a predatory manner shouldn't be prosecuted. They absolutely should be. This is an instance that you rarely get to say that the defendant had no criminal intent.
In the days after our story,
This young lady went on to an adult site and lied about her age. No man that sleeps with her. It didn't matter even that this guy is only 19. If he was 29, it wouldn't matter. Because there's no reason for them to believe that they aren't what they say they are. None. Why go to him? Why not go to the site? Why isn't the site being held responsible for it?
story first aired in July, Zach's case went viral on social media. More than 220,000 people have signed a petition supporting him. Just last month,
This is what I'm talking about. This is what has to happen. If it wasn't for this going viral, this guy would not get the support he needs. And this is what is the traditional conservative garbage justice system has to be shamed. And that's the only way it's going to happen.
a judge threw out Zach's sentence. And next Monday, the Andersons will head to court once again, this time for resentencing, where a new judge will determine Zach's fate.
We're hoping either to get a resentence. Obviously, our goal and our hope would be that charges could be dropped.
Not just for Zach, but what they say are so many others like him.
We hope that they stop putting people on the sex offender registry like they're passing out traffic tickets, because there are hundreds and hundreds of people that don't.
Euphemism when she says people. She means guys. This is what I'm talking about. Even the guy's parents don't have his back, really. How many women are being willy-nilly thrown on the sex offender list? When these women get thrown on the sex offender list, they actually have to be sex offenders.
Don't deserve to be on that list. They're just publicly shaming these people and our son for life.
For Nightline, I'm Juju Chang in Elkhart.
Not just publicly shaming them, taking away his ability to live and taking away his citizenry. He's a criminal that is still out at large. Now, the update is that they finally did drop the sex offender list. He's not on it, thank God. But they're keeping his probation going. So they're still fighting with that. So it just goes to show how disgusting this is. You guys, whoever's listening to this, you better wake up. Because this isn't going, that might happen to you. This is what they're gunning for. It's all set up already. Guys sat back and let feminists make anti-male laws and traditional Tradcons. Tradcons are feminist because they do the exact same thing. They're man-haters. And they set up the law to get these guys. And as you can see, these Tradcon, disgusting, low-life judges are willing to circumvent the rules of the law, to pervert them to get after these young men. So that's what I think about this. Goodbye, everyone.